Hidden gems. Excuse me. In this entry, we'll be talking about sequels and that have movies. Sorry. My name is Charles Diggs. My previous entry, I did a fully audio version because of technical issues. I just wanted to get my first entry out that time. So hopefully you all enjoy this one more. Our first movie is Club Dread. This is a comedy uh, done by the Broken Lizards Club, and who made Super Troopers and Beer Fest. If you want to check those movies out, I highly recommend it. Um, it came out in 2004. It's set on a vacation island. It's a mixture of a party movie and a masked horror movie. This movie was a welcome surprise for me. If you love the movie Super Troopers and their misfit highway patrol officers, you should love this movie. The members of the group change their group dynamics and become different characters. So if you remember characters like Rod and Farva and Rabbit from the Super Troopers movies, they're not going to be exactly the same. This is definitely a fun movie that's not meant to be taken too seriously. And it blends some of the best of both comedy and horror in one film. The next movie on the list is A Dog's Purpose. This is a comedy, family slash drama, I guess you could call it. Not only in this movie is this movie great, it is also has a great sequel as well called A Dog's Journey. The main character is a dog named Bailey. Now, the dog's name may change for each life, but essentially Bailey is the same character, and that's why I use it. Uh, this movie is done under the premise of reincarnation, where the main character lives multiple lives, narrating things from his or her point of view. No matter the breed or gender, or even the name Bailey is known by each in each life by the character, how the character looks out on the world around them. With each life and each owner, you see the world through a different perspective. I love movies like this and how true the writers stick to the dog's motivation. The internal monologue of the dog is entertaining in and of itself, and Bailey's interactions with humans is absolutely heartwarming. I recommend it I recommend it for audiences, kids as well as adults. I actually watched this movie as an adult because it only came out so long ago. But I could see if you had like a bunch of kids that they could enjoy it. I'm trying to remember the rating. I believe it was rated PG. If you're wondering if your kids can watch it, so I recommend not obviously not infants, but if they're older, that's fine. The next movie is Gods and Generals. This is a war drama, I would say. Gettysburg is actually the second movie of this series and was made famous in 1993. I remember seeing it on TV the first time I watched. I still think it is one of the best war dramas I've ever seen. I still say that to this day. Uh, Gods and Generals is also a great movie with its own fine cast. In it, you are introduced to Stonewall Jackson, one of the Confederacy's greatest generals. When General Robert E. Lee needed someone to hold the line, Jackson and his troops seemed to be often in the thick of it. This movie kicks off at West Point as the states of the Confederacy began to secede from the Union. I'm listening to in listening to the officers about to leave and the classmates behind, I found myself trying to put myself in their shoes. For the most part, slavery didn't seem to be the focus, especially not for Jackson. In his mind, he was loyal to his state first and answered its call of duty. One of the things I like about this series, just as an off note of films, is they're not trying to take sides. There's not like extra propaganda. Like both sides believe they're right. And if you're going to do a war drama, I kind of recommend this. Um, though it's not on this list of hidden gems, a more popular movie that you might have seen is Letters to Iwo Jima, and there was an American one. I'm trying to remember it, Sons of Our Fathers or something like that. You could look it up. Each one of those movies, one takes the point of view of the Japanese, and the other one takes the point of view of the Americans. Both show the horrors of war from each side, and both sides show that they committed atrocities, which is another good film. Though it's more mainstream, that's why it's not on this list. The next film is Short Circuit. This is a drama for slash family film. It came out in 1986, and like most of the movies on this list, had one sequel. Number 5 is a robot built for the Department of Defense while charging after performing a demonstration for high-level civilian and military officials. A random lightning strike seems to almost fry Number 5, sending electricity coursing through it. When his keepers see he is still functioning, they send him back to the others. But Number 5, all of a sudden, has a mind of his own. As this now sentient robot experiences new things, he learns and grows, trying to absorb knowledge with a hunger that would make any student proud. I'm sure you'll find his personality and little quirks endearing. If you still want more, there is a Short Circuit 2, which I also highly recommend. I would say the first movie is done like in a port city or slash town. The second film is done in, I believe, New York City is the setting. Okay, the next movie on the list is Dracula 2000. This is a horror slash action. You might have seen it if you're a big horror slash action fan. But if you haven't, that's why one of the reasons why it's on the list. Because unless you're already a fan of that genre, you may or may not have seen this. This is the only movie on this list that has a sequel I don't recommend. Dracula 2000 was made 21 years ago and is a great addition to the Dracula legend. This movie is unique, I would say, because it has more of an action movie feel to it than the classic horror movie. Don't get me wrong, Bram Stoker's and others have action in their movies, but they are where it's spaced out. Like you see it, but it's not like a main staple of the movie. It's, I would say, maybe a quarter of it or less. I found Dracula 2000 has its own story and twists, so it stands alone in that area as well. I don't want to give away the storyline, but it definitely has some interesting twists. The movie starts in Britain, but is moved to New Orleans when the thieves break into a vault made by Van Helsing himself and steal coffin, believing there are valuables inside. Dracula 3000 takes some good things from this movie, like the action, but throws away all the unique story elements that makes this movie great. I actually watched 3000 because I enjoyed Dracula 2000 so much, and for me, it was an utter flop in comparison. They just kind of went back to like the old vampire legends and just kind of threw out like general vampire legends to the point where it was just kind of like, okay, you pretty much just do a whole bunch of stuff together and try to make it the same as the first movie. Okay. For my next entry into hidden films, I will be doing books. I hope you have enjoyed this entry and you check out these movies. You can often find deals on, was it Amazon, and Walmart. Like the Walmart, you can look. Not only do they have deals on the shelves, but they at least used to have bargain bins. I think sometimes Target has something similar, but for sure, I know Walmart has really good deals for movies. Amazon obviously is really good, and you can generally have things mailed to you, especially if you have Prime, for like cheap or no cost at all. Thank you for your time. Please hit the subscribe button, and I hope you like to see more of this. And if you feel like it, you can also check out some of the audio samples of my books. I also sell on Amazon as well. Um, Thank you and have a great day.